Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. With just a month left until the premiere of the 70-minute pilot episode of The Bad Batch, I thought this would be a great time to go through the second trailer and break it down frame by frame, as detailed as we can possibly go. Find every little Easter egg, every little nugget of information, and see what we can glean from this trailer. Alright, with that out of the way, let us begin. So we start with the Lucasfilm logo, no surprises here. Then we see the Bad Batch, all 5 members arriving on Camino into a training ground similar to the Citadel training ground, but not exactly the same. They are overseen by Tarkin and the Prime Minister of Camino, Lao Mao Su, who are commenting on their abilities as clones. If you notice, Tarkin has been promoted to Fleet Admiral. Last we saw him, he was a captain in the Clone Wars, so that's interesting. He's got some really weird baggy pants, too. Let's see, Bad Batch splits up, and then they go against what looked like a prototype to the T-Series Sentry droid, and just another basic training droid we haven't seen before. We then get a fighting montage, nothing big here. Hunter runs out and everyone else is ducking back, and it looks like Hunter and Wrecker solo this one basically. There's the knife throw, and then a suplex from Wrecker. Then they form up. Here, Wrecker's taunting Tarkin, which makes me think that, and everyone else is standing back behind the barricade still. Well, we only see 3 of them. I don't know where Echo is. Makes me think that Hunter soloed the whole first round by himself, and that there's 2 different waves of droids Tarkin sends after him. Doesn't really matter, though. He doesn't look happy either way. May 4th, we know V-Wings on Camino. It's a transition sign. V-Wings didn't start being used that frequently until the very end of the Clone Wars. They're the predecessors to the TIE Fighters, actually. Hunter, there's Crosshair, so we know Crosshair's fine in this. He's the one with the gray hair in the back and the text on his left. Then we got Hunter apparently stealing food from a market in what looks like Onderon, but could honestly be any core world, like Anaxis even. They might be going back there. Then, yeah, this looks like a core world traffic lane, but who knows. Hunter's going around, doing his own thing. Nothing to see here. Then we got this planet. We don't know. We get. It's very hard to tell, but if you look in the back left, there are either 2 or 3 figures back there. The question is Crosshair hiding somewhere and just sniping droids, or is he not with them on this mission? Is this after the Crosshair disappearance or not? And that we can't tell. This planet, though, pineish trees, it's hard to tell. It could easily be Raxus, because we see that later. And that makes sense for them to go Raxus, would have droids active even after the shutdown order, right? I mean, the Separatists would still mind their own homeworld security. Raxus is the Separatist capital. This is the same planet. We have a massive explosion, and it looks like there's a bunch of Phase 2 clone troopers fighting with the Bad Batch, but the Bad Batch just went in and soloed. Now, is Wrecker carrying Echo? It's hard to tell. Hopefully Echo's alright. I know Echo doesn't look that great in some of the shots, but he could just be carrying some big weapon or piece of debris. It is very hard to tell. Oh yeah, it looks like Echo's between Hunter and Wrecker here, so he's probably fine. But again, no Crosshair here either. So they're still working with the clones here, which would line up with this being Raxus or some other Separatist holdout. And there is Omega. Now what do we say about Omega? Well, we have clones and a few Kaminoans in the background, so we're obviously on Camino, pre-Order 66, everything's going well. And Omega, she is obviously some type of clone. We've got this pendant on her, it's Kaminoan, it's not a Night Sister thing. I'll debunk the Night Sister thing in a little. but she's also not probably a Fett clone because her eye color is a lighter shade of brown and her hair is blonde. I mean, blonde hair is a recessive trait. That wouldn't pronounce itself, and even if they were messing with the clone genes a bit. So it could be an experiment with a new parent seed, probably, or a new side project that Palpatine's trying to find Force-sensitive clones. She might be Force-sensitive, it's possible. She seems like she could be the type, and it's always the kid in these animated shows that's the Force-sensitive one. So if she's Force-sensitive, that could tie into Gideon's experiments with whatever the goo was in the tank, and Palpatine's experiments with transferring his consciousness into a Force-sensitive clone. She obviously recognizes him, so she's familiar with him. Then we got all 5 arriving on Kamino, same shot that we saw at the very beginning. And this is what we saw earlier when she's talking to him. Again, Crosshair's just the jerk of the bunch, so it wouldn't be that surprising if he skips off. Then, now we're fighting clones, and this is where we start seeing no Crosshair. So we got Hunter in tech, and Hunter face punches a helmet. That just hurt your hand, if you ask me. Taking out phase 2 clones pretty effectively. Who's that in the background? That's tech again. Okay. And that might be the last of them. Then, yep, we get each of the ghost-throughs. Echo doesn't look that great, pretty pale, but he looks better. He looks alive here. His talents are helpful. Tech is being awesome as always, and then they're being chased by... Those look like some sort of V-wing. I can't exactly tell. Wrecker, as always, is being cool. No Crosshair here, but this is still on Kamino. Pre-order 66, you're getting along with clones just fine. You can't see... Yeah, no, you can't see. They're just eating food. And then this planet, which I'm going to guess is going to be Braca, the scrapyard planet from Fallen Order, which could be neat to bring in some tie-ins. I doubt we'll see Cal Kestis, but it's cool that they have tie-ins. Looks like this engine's exploding, and it's not. Like, they're not trying to take the Venator off. It's crashed and defunct for sure. And this right here, most trailer breakdowns have missed this. This here is Crosshair, and he is not accounting for this explosion. You can tell by the sidearm, the commando backpack, his silhouette, and that rifle. That rifle is very clearly Crosshair's rifle. And he's getting blown away. I doubt he's dying because they typically don't have deaths in trailers. But is that Crosshair there on the very left? There's a human, it looks like, that gets blown up against the rock. That could be Crosshair. But we don't know. Again, no Crosshair here. But yeah, it's hard to say. Time will tell. And then it's free celebrating, and then the only other Crosshair scene we see is from the Citadel training ground, where he shoots Hunter's knife into the last remaining DT series security droid, kind of the prototype for Thrawns. They're not Dark Troopers because, as Gideon said, Dark Troopers in their first generations were not droids. They were suits that kind of replaced clones. So here, again, the Bad Batch minus Omega and Crosshair. So they probably drop Omega off somewhere. Then we've got Thrawn arriving on Kamino, and we know that the first time Thrawn's on Kamino, he's cool with the Bad Batch, so he must be there, he must leave, the Bad Batch do something to tick him off, and then he comes back in this shot with the Coruscant shock troopers, so he's clearly working very closely with Palpatine. His rank and his bodyguard suggests that. Now he's having them hunted down. Then Fennec Shand from The Mandalorian, that's going to be interesting. She's probably hunting down the Bad Batch. She's clearly not going to be a good person, at least at first. She might team up with him eventually, but Fennec Shand is a villain. That much is clear. And I doubt her ever being good. She could be morally ambiguous and help him out a little bit, but Then we've got this planet, which could honestly be Zygeria. It could also be Braca again, but who knows? We just get this animal that looks sort of Zygerian, but again, it could be anywhere. It could be a... Oh, it would have had a rider at one point. You can see it's got that saddle. It looks like it's out of... Oh, what, Felucia? But this isn't Felucia. And they drive it away, or it doesn't seem interested in attacking him. Doesn't look like their blaster shots do much. Then we got Hunter talking with Crosshair there. He's actually talking to Crosshair. And it's hard to tell if his... They're in a bit of a standoff. Now, not that they ever look great, but clearly there's some tensions here. And what's actually being said at this time is we need to get out of here, and it doesn't look like his lip movements sync up with that. I think that has to do with this next scene. So I think that they're about to fight or something. This is Camino, you can tell by the backdrop. Or Onderon at night, but probably not. Probably Camino. Because, again, here, no Crosshair. They're escaping with Omega, so Crosshair has some reason to not. And it's hard to say, like, look at their uniforms. They're more black now, and the shoulder patch is... It's still Galactic Republic, but looking more Imperial. Then they're looking to their sides. They're obviously trying to escape. Then they're talking with Omega. Again, no Crosshair. And she says, "What can I do to help?" Which is a direct callback to the original 99's line in the Clone Wars, where he says, "What can I do to help?" when they're on Camino. Now, what's this planet? Gosh, I don't know. This could be that Pine Tree planet. Why don't I recognize this planet? It's not Naboo, is it? I don't care. Not Naboo. They're clearly being attacked. What was that ship being destroyed in the background? It looks like a Gazanti. Why would there be a Gazanti? It's not a Gazanti. Wait, what's going on? It appears. That is so weird. Okay, so it's an explosion. What? There is nothing there. And then... Nothing there, and then... Huh. I don't know what to say. Then those like V-Wing-esque things, chasing them in an Eta-class shuttle. Hunter manages to take out a few. Then we got Rex, or someone in Rex's armor. It's Rex. And all Echo, Rex, Wrecker, and Omega with their bow now. More on the bow in a bit. So that's Braca, as I was saying. Definitely looks like Braca there at the Venator. Then she pulls the bow off her back, so it's clearly her bow, her weapon of choice or something. And she kills a Phase 2 clone with it. Now, it's an energy bow, sure, and a lot of people are saying Night Sister compound bow. But no, it's not Night Sister. She doesn't have her pendant on in this scene. If she's a Night Sister, she'd probably always be wearing that thing. But mainly this front arc here. Night Sister bows are one solid beam, and then the bolt shoots straight through it. Here, this has got like this fork shape, as if there's two separate pieces that have been glued together. Night Sister bows don't look like that. You can look it up. There's their Eta-class shuttle again, and they're escaping from... Gosh, you can't see the planet. Some ocean planet. Could be Raxus, actually. I don't remember how much ocean Raxus had. Anyway, that continues. And Onderon, and clearly the posturing of these citizens combined with the aggressive stance of these clones demonstrates that the occupation has begun. Wait, is that Onderon? Yeah, that's Onderon, right? It could almost be Naboo, but yeah, it's Onderon. And then we got Clone Force 99 taken out in their ATTE with their own that they've hijacked, and they're talking with Saw Gerrera. Again, all four but Crosshair. No Omega here either. Then Saw Gerrera and his Renegades, they're teaming up, as you can see. And then we got Hunter's chase. He throws a grenade onto Fennec's vehicle, which blows it up. And Fennec lands on, what's that say? Taxi. My Arabesh isn't great, but T-A-X-I. Fennec Shan lands on a taxi, stuff that you never thought you'd see. And gosh, shouldn't that break her back? That should break her back. How's that sign not dented? How is this taxi okay? I have so many questions. I guess I'll have to wait and see. Saw Gerrera with face scar. So he's been doing his fighting. And there goes Fennec Shan's vehicle, and she looks all mean. Yeah, she's not going to be a good person at first. Well, that's just about it. We got a few last sequences of them. Again, there's a few scenes without tech as well on Braca, and here. So what's with the Order 66, as a lot of people are wondering? Well, maybe they all obey Order 66 at first. Probably not, and Crosshair's the only one who doesn't. But I don't think they will. They're all mutated, and Echo's had his mind, like, literally flushed out by the Separatists, and they would have taken out any chips or anything that they saw. And they went through his mind pretty thoroughly. So if anyone obeys Order 66, I guess it's Crosshair, but I don't really see that happening. I just imagine that they just don't want to go along with the Empire. And there's Wrecker landing on a droid and taking out the rest. These droids we've never seen before. They look like prototypes to some Imperial security droids, but their panning suggests like mining guild or something. Like that yellow color. It'd be cool to see the mining guild, but I doubt we will. There's so many Underworld and Clone Wars Legacy plot lines that they could tie in. I'm super excited. Anyway, so they're probably some predecessor to the Imperial security droid. They're clearly not that formidable. Then we got, okay, this is the same place with that animal earlier, and we got a Zygerian with a whip. That doesn't mean it's Zygeria, but probably is Zygeria. It makes sense. Zygeria is trying to, get rich. There were war and slave profiteers, so with the rise of the Empire, they'd certainly see business opportunity there, and the Bad Batch would have a place to oppose them, especially if we want to establish them as good guys. Anyway, he's done. Eta-class shuttle. Yeah, and this looks like Raxus, but it's got a lot of ocean. I don't remember Raxus having that much ocean. And we got everyone but Crosshair with Omega. And they take off into hyperspace. And you can see from Omega's eyes that she has never been there before. And she's got her pendant on now. So what does this suggest for the timeline? Well, it'll probably pick up right where Season 7 left off. They'll head straight to Camino. They'll do their test. Something will happen. We know from the first trailer that there's going to be Coruscant as well. It's hard to say, but we know that Omega will at least be with them until Braca. Maybe not much longer, though. And Braca might be where Crosshair dies or has their first encounter as a villain. We're not that sure. And then Raxus will be at the beginning, maybe before Camino, actually, or maybe their first assignment by Tarkin. Maybe Raxus is where they get disobedient and Crosshair splits off, and then they return to Camino to retrieve Omega. Again, it's hard to say. Kashyyyk, one of those planets could be Kashyyyk. We're not that sure. Again, just so many timelines. But we'll have to wait and see, and I'm super excited. So tell me what your theories are in the comments, and please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I want to really get this going. I'm super excited. And thank you, everyone, and see you soon.